Let me get something extra annoying so that way I'll pick up.
Oh.
Pick.
Yeah.
I'm at the speaker. Is there a Bible with big words? My glasses broke, so I'm definitely SOL now.
Yeah, it gotta be that
Gotcha.
Yo, turn that, what's the prepare button on that speaker?
Excuse me, sir. Where are we starting off at? Sir, where are we starting off at?
I don't know yet.
I would like to be prepared, sir. I reckon we're starting off in, what is it? Deuteronomy?
It ain't connecting.
Huh?
Alright, we just gonna run it. SHALAM Israel, I.S.U.P.K, Houston. I'm a teacher tonight, priest officer not, officer 5000. What's the title of the class today? Gadites. As we all know, Esau holiday is coming up soon, so-called Thanksgiving. So, you know what I mean, I want to run across a few scriptures to help us break it down of who and what Thanksgiving is. So first of all, I'm gonna read an excerpt from a book that we have, or I have rather, or whatever the case may be. This is History of the American Indians by James Adair, written in 1775, published in 1930. This is page 13, right? Some suppose Native Americans are descendants of Chinese, but their religious laws or customs resemble not at all. Neither could a person sail to America from the North Bering Strait. It is impractical for any to come to America from that quarter. The remaining traces of their religion, ceremonies, symbols, and martial customs are quite opposite to the old Chinese. There are no alike buildings. Several natives assure they crossed the Mississippi before making their way west. From the long trade with the natives, I was forced to believe them literal descendants of the Israelites. This he proved from the customs, manners, language, and particular making through acquaintance with the ancient Chinese. So let's start with that. So first of all, when they say Native Americans crossed the, what they be saying, how they say Native Americans got here?
land bridge.
The land bridge and the Bering Strait, right? So this, what he just broke down, whatever he was, what he just broke down was there's no possible way a person, first of all, they can't cross through the Siberian Peninsula. Well, not Siberia, they can't cross to Siberia. What's it called? Siberia, right? Siberia, right? They can't cross through Siberia. It's way too cold, way too much snow. Remember in World War I, I believe, the Germans tried to go through Siberia to get to St. Petersburg or Moscow, and they froze to death, right? It just won't work. So they're saying as far as the customs, the traditions, and anything about the Native Americans is far opposite from the Chinese. Is no way the Native Americans are Chinese. There's no way the Native Americans came from China, right? The history of the Native Americans proves to them coming across the Mississippi, if they've ever circumnavigated the country. How would you say that? If they ever crossed the country, across whatever the situation is, you know what I'm saying? They came over the Mississippi first. All right, so what, you got that story, Jacobite?
I have it. Phone's acting stupid.
Your phone's acting stupid? All right, I'll read it. I'll read it. All right, so first of all, Thanksgiving. What is Thanksgiving, Abba?
Thanksgiving?
Use your microphone. It's Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is celebrating the massacre of...
No, tell me what the world says.
Oh. I know it's when the families come together and give thanks and eat food, or talk about things that they're thankful for, and create and cherish memories with one another.
Families come together, they cherish one another, they give thanks. What else is Thanksgiving, Yakubad?
As the way they celebrate it, or you
That's the
talking?
way they celebrate it.
Oh, it's Columbus Food, Family, and Fun Day.
Food, family, and fun day. All right, so tell me what we know Thanksgiving is.
We know Thanksgiving as a celebration of great rivalry and massacre of our people.
Okay, how about?
Hmm?
What do we know Thanksgiving is?
It is.
I would say it's the massacre of some of our ancestors, and as they took their land.
Right. So y'all know how many, Christopher Columbus single-handedly is responsible for 8 million bodies. Christopher Columbus single-handedly has 8 million bodies on his hand. Y'all talking about y'all running the block up. Y'all ain't got nothing on Columbus. Columbus got 8 million bodies, right? We lost 77 million Native Americans during the time of the transatlantic slave trade and forward towards the treaties. I'm gonna read a few treaties that Native America signed with Americans, and then we're gonna move on to the history of Thanksgiving. All right, give me 1 second. Get my notes. All right. So I'm gonna just read a few of them, just a few of them, all right? So okay, so in 1650, the war began between England and Native Americans. 1776, the Declaration says the merciless Indian savages, as we call Native Americans in the Declaration, right? 1787, the U.S. Constitution in Article 6 made a treaty of supreme law of the land. The Native Americans had supreme law of the land in 1787, right? We talk about that camp. In 1849 was the California Gold Rush. And in 1851, the Treaty of Fort Loraine, right, for the Sioux tribe. I believe all of these people were unalive afterwards, right? So we just said 1849. 1868, the U.S. versus Native Americans for the second treaty. 1871, the government ceased to recognize the Native Americans, the Indian Appropriation Act. 1871 was the Buffalo Extermination, where they killed all the buffaloes. 1873, 1.5 million buffaloes were killed. 1875, the U.S. demands sale of Black Hills. 1880, assimilation. Native American children were shipped to faraway schools and burnt their clothes. They cut their hair. The family lost contact with one another, and they began to instill Christianity in 1880. In 1883 was they criminalized culture of the Native Americans. So for you to even be a Native American was considered criminal. I mean, so if you kept your customs, if you kept your language, if you kept your clothes, or if you kept anything about yourself, you were considered a criminal in that year, right? 1890 was the Wounded Knee Massacre up in where the what's that mountain in Dakota? Mount Rushmore. That's where Mount Rushmore is today. You know what I'm saying? They destroyed all of them, the Sioux tribe, and put a mountain up in 1890, right? 1885 was the Major Crimes Act, the U.S. jurisdiction versus Native American territory. 1887, the General Allotment Act divided the Sioux tribe into individual and privately owned property assigned to tribal members. They broke that treaty. 1903, the Supreme Court versus Hitchcock. They gave the supreme hegemony, which is supreme rulership over Native Americans, unlimited authority to break treaties. These are all the treaties that they made and broke. 1934 was the Reorganization Act. The 1960s, the U.S. Indian Health Services Act, which was all broken. 1973, 300 activists occupied Wounded Knee back up in North Dakota. The U.S. sent the FBI, the Marshal, the National Guard, snipers, helicopters, machine guns, tanks, grenade launchers, tear gas, armored trucks, torrents, and jets, and fighter jets to unalive the Native Americans. So this is how many encounters the government and the military had with the Native Americans, and many, many more. Like the Trail of Tears, which is one where they took all the Creek, the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Blackfeet, and I'm not sure if it was the Lenni Lenape, but it might be. It was 5 tribes they took from the South: Mississippi, Tennessee, Virginias, the Carolinas, Alabamas, and Mississippi, and all of that, and Arkansas. They took them all and moved them over to Oklahoma, which is where no fertile ground was. It took about 20 million Native Americans and moved them out of their land. This was under the $20 bill. Andrew Hamilton, right? So under the president, Andrew Hamilton, they removed about 20 million Native Americans out of their zone and put them in Oklahoma. Why do we say this? The whole framework of what we just said was how you can have a people or have a person, and so many times you can trust this person, and so many times they can stab you in the back. Our brothers trusted our oppressor so many times, which I just named many of them. Right? They believed that they would help them into becoming a better tribe. They made plenty of treaties with them. Over 377 treaties. Maybe, was it I think it was 377 treaties with the Native Americans in America, and America broke all 277. America broke all 277 of them. All right? So, first of all, let's do that to understand who the Native Americans are. First off, let's go to Genesis 49 and a second. '49 and 19.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 19. And Gad, a troop, shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at last.
Hold on. Start with that. Give me Genesis 30 and 11.
Can you repeat it again?
Genesis 30 and 11.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 11. And Leah said, a troop cometh. And she called his name Gad.
So Gad means a troop, right? That's what Gad means. Now in Genesis 49, which is the prophecy of all the Gadites, right? Or the prophecy of all the Israelites. Joseph, right, is telling all the children of Israel who they will be later on in the future. Joseph told Gad, whose name is a troop, he said, the troop shall overcome you, right? Now, before we had the U.S. military, what were they called, Jacobite?
U.S. military?
Yeah, before they were called the U.S. military, what were they called?
Nations,
Troops.
troops.
Or the troops. You know what I'm saying? Said, Gad, a troop shall overcome you, right? All right, where we gonna go with this? Give me a second. Deuteronomy 33 and 20.
This is Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 20.
Mhm. This is Moses. So now Joseph gave a prophecy of what Gad would be in the future. This is Moses giving a prophecy of who Gad will be in the future. Go ahead.
And of Gad, he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad.
Mm-hmm.
He dwelleth as a lion.
As a what?
As a lion.
As a what?
As a lion.
So Gad dwells as a lion. How does a lion dwell, Yahweh? Give me some characteristics of a lion.
Mighty,
Mighty, for sure.
honey prowess.
Hunting. How do lions live?
They look like us, the king.
They live like kings. We know, or you don't know, but during the time of the split, you know what I'm saying, Levi was under Southern Kingdom. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, correct?
Oh God.
Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were the priests. When the Northern Kingdom split, Gadites were the priests, right? So the Gadites kept the culture, right? So you say they live royal, they live like kings. How else do lions live? Give me some characteristics.
Strong.
Strong. How do lions live? How about? How do lions live? Give me some characteristics of lions.
They can be courage.
Courage.
Well, they should have courage. Very prideful.
Mm-hmm. Jacobite.
Wow, not tamed, they not restricted. Free.
I'll take that.
I think they're very, like, they are very family oriented as far as like their pack and how
Packs,
they.
that's what I want. Lions live in packs, they live in groups. And like you said, they hunt their food, and wherever the food is, that's where the lions live, right? So Gad dwells as a lion. This is the characteristics of Gad. And we know Native American, that's how they live. Wherever the buffalo went, that's where they went. They'll pack their tent up and they roll. They dwell as a pack, as a family. Go ahead.
And carry the arm with the crown of the head.
Yeah, he said he tears the arm with the crown of the head. I know too many images I see of Gad that they pulling it, they taking the scalp off your head with the crown of your head. You know what I'm saying? They pulling the scalp off of your head. I seen too many pictures of Gad scalping or crowning people. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 21. And he provided the first part for himself,
Go ahead.
because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated.
Now, Gad was, like we just said, Gad was given a portion of the lawgiver. He was seated as a portion of the lawgiver. So now, when you see Gadites, you see the Gadite culture, it got fringes on it. You know what I'm saying? It has the spirit of an Israelite. Now, you can buy Gadite apparel right now, and it has Israelite spirit in it. Because they had that spirit of a lawgiver. Keep going.
And he came with the heads of the people.
Go ahead.
He executed the justice of the Lord
Mm-hmm.
and his judgment with Israel.
All right. Give me Numbers 15 and 37.
This is Numbers chapter 15. Verse 27. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Mm-hmm.
verse 38, speak unto the children of Israel,
Good.
and bid them that they make them fringes
Mm-hmm.
in the borders of their garments.
Yeah, Native Americans, they knew that. That's where do you think we get the fringes from? Like, they got Native American boots right now, they fire. The boots got the fringes on them. The bags got the fringes on them. All they apparel, they garments got fringes on them. We went to a powwow in Delaware. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, the powwow was more salt than pepper, You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, the customs of the powwow were very cultural. You know what I'm saying? They understand their heritage, they understand the culture. And then we read the book, we read the book on Columbus Day. We read a lot of the books about what Gad was saying that their custom is from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like they know that. Today they whitewash, but they know that customs come from the Bible. They was given this law and they've kept it since then. Keep going.
throughout their generations,
Throughout their generations, go ahead.
and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
All right, y'all, they give me 1 Chronicles 12 and 8.
First Chronicles, chapter 12, verse 8.
Go ahead.
And of the Gadites, they're separate. They're separated themselves unto David
Mm-hmm.
into the whole to the wilderness, men of might
Mm-hmm.
and men of war
ahead.
fit for the battle,
Go ahead.
that could handle shield and buckler,
Mm-hmm.
whose faces were like the faces of lions,
Mm-hmm.
and were as swift as the roes upon the mountain.
Let's run that back. Read verse 8 again.
Okay. This book of Chronicles, chapter 12, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And of the Gadites, there separated themselves unto David into the whole.
Now this was before David brought the kingdom together, right? David and the Gadites, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom was not together, right? But the Gadites were different. The Gadites lived a whole different lifestyle, right? It was in the wilderness. This is how they lived, in the wilderness. Go ahead.
Hold to the wilderness, men of might
Mm-hmm.
and men of war fit for the battle.
Now, when you read stories about Native Americans, they live in the woods, and their whole lifestyle is about, like, we read today about anarchy and post-apocalyptic and how we would live after the apocalypse. You know, men dying, men chilling, you know what I'm saying, and men moving about in the land that has no law, right? They live their life outside in the wilderness, and you would hear them like making noise or something. Like they know how to fight. They know about battle. They know about war. That's how to defend themselves. They live like lions. They dwell where the food is. And if you come around them, you likely to not leave. That's how lions go. This is the spirit of the Gadites. Keep going.
And men of war fit for the battle,
Mm-hmm.
that could handle shield and buckler.
They can handle the shield and the buckler, right? The bow and arrow, the shield, the knife. They knew how to fight. They were skilled with the shield and the buckler. Go ahead.
Whose faces were like the faces of lions.
Now they had the faces of lion. It was grimy. They had the war paint. You know what I'm saying? They lived with whatever prints they made on their face. You know what I'm saying? Now that was unlawful. You know what I'm saying? But they lived with the war paint. They lived with the skill of hunting, the skill of dwelling in the woods, the skill of making sure that they ate the night. Go ahead.
And were as swift as the roes.
It was swift. You know what a roe is, right? A roe is like a deer. It was swift as a deer when they move. It was hunt like lions, but they swift as a deer when they move in the mountains. Go ahead.
Hose upon the mountains.
All right, let me get some more. Give me 1 Chronicles 5 and 18. 1 Chronicles 5 and 18. Couple chapters.
This is the First Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 18.
Go ahead.
The sons of Reuben
Mm-hmm.
and the Gadites, and have the tribe of Manasseh,
Mm-hmm.
of valiant men,
Mm-hmm.
men able to bear buckler and sword,
Go ahead.
and to shoot with bow.
And shoot with what?
Shoot with bow.
You know what that mean, right? What that mean?
Shoot with bow and arrow.
with the bow and arrow. They was skilled with the buckler, the sword, and the bow and arrow. Go ahead.
And skillful in war.
The warriors. Go ahead.
40,703 score
Mhm.
that went out to the war.
All right, give me Judges 20 and 38. I want y'all to get the spirit of who Gad is.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin
Mm-hmm.
on the third day and put themselves in array against Gadites
Mm-hmm.
as at other times. Verse 31.
No, 38.
It's 38.
Yeah.
Come on. This is the book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 38.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liars in wait.
Now, there was a pointed sign. This is how I communicate with you. A sign is a signal. There was an appointed sign. This is how we communicated, right? Between men of Israel that lie in the wait. Go ahead.
That they should make a great flame
Uh-huh.
with smoke rise up out of the city.
Now, we had smoke signals. That's how we communicated, right? It was a great flame, and my flame would communicate with you. My smoke would communicate with you. Where and who we are,
It's not for. It's not
right?
Well,
Give me 1 Samuel 9 and 9.
for Pittsburgh.
this is First Samuel, chapter 9, verse 9.
Give me 1 second, 1 second.
Before time in
Give me
Israel,
give me 1 second, hold on.
First Samuel, chapter 9, verse 9.
Hmm?
Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God,
Go ahead.
thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer.
Now, how about it? What's a seer? A seer, you're right. Yeah, she said. You're absolutely right. That's a seer. What's a seer? Jacobot?
Soothsayer.
No.
What? Was a prophet?
A prophet. Before times, when men went to go talk to a prophet, they went to a seer. That's what Native Americans call their chief.
Shamans.
They call their, not the chief, but they call the prophet. They got the chiefs who rule the army. Then they got the people that know the future.
Shamans.
The shamans. The word shame is heaven, I believe, something like that, right? But they had people that can see the future. Those were the seers, right? So Native Americans would give them, or most people would give their elect names, right? We called them seers. I believe Native Americans called them seers for a very long time. Keep going.
For he that is now called a prophet.
He's now called a prophet, but at one time they were called seers, right? Native Americans are big on that. They big on their customs and, you know what I'm saying, their totem poles and, you know what I mean, they things to try to see into the future. They big on that. You know what I mean? We watch a lot of movies today like Apocalypto, and all the Native American movies. Mind you, Native Americans wasn't just, the Gadites were all through America. You know what I mean? Now, Zebulon, South American, they had whole different styles, right? Nonetheless, this is characteristics of Israel as well, right? But the Native Americans call themselves seers. They go seek their prophets, right? They still had these type of customs even until Christianity imposed their lifestyle on America, like on Native Americans. Who said the Native Americans wanted that lifestyle? Who said the Native Americans want to be Christianized? You know what I'm saying? Esau just came to put his culture on Native Americans and made them adopt to it. And if they didn't, they become criminals. The name Indian means savage. So they just called them savages, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, the savages of the West, or, you know what I'm saying? That's why they said there's the West Indies, or whatever. The word Indian, or India, is just savage. Go ahead. Oh, no, I got you.
Nippy.
Give me Exodus 36 and 19.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 36, verse 19.
That boy Yakubah know his way through that Bible.
And he made,
Hold on. Exodus 36 and 19. All right, go ahead.
and he made a covering for the tent of rams, skin dyed ram.
Now they made a covering for the tent of ram skin, right? Mind you, this Israelite custom. They took the ram skin and made a tent and dyed it red. Go ahead. Dyed it red with what?
And
Oh, sorry, they made a tent of ram skin and dyed red. Go ahead.
a covering of badger skin above that.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. And he made borders. He made boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood,
Okay, sit down.
standing up.
Now we know we make tents today, but the whole idea of the tent making and the teepee is old. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about whose customs the Native Americans had, they couldn't have had Chinese customs, because we discussing the same customs in the Bible that Native Americans had. They made tents. We know the Native Americans for tents. They call them teepees, right? They made tents with the badger skin, with the ram skin, dyed in red. They had fringes, right? They had seers and prophets. Anything else in that?
Verse 21.
One second. One second. Hold on 1 second.
Better. Mama, give me the heart down.
All right. Give me 1 Corinthians 8 and 1.
Corinthians 8:1.
1 Corinthians 8 and 1. Now we understand more so the customs of Gad. We understand the customs of the Native Americans, and that it didn't come from China, which most people say. They came through Asia, they came to America, and they was here, right? I don't think I gotta explain, because we all know the normal Thanksgiving breakdown. Native Americans came on the land that took them a year and a half to cross, right? Or through the river that took them a year and a half to cross. That land is called Arsarith. You familiar with that, right? In Apocrypha? Spoke about that on Christopher Columbus Day, where Columbus followed the Bible to where Native Americans were, right? He followed that blueprint and made it here to America. That's what the Native Americans did when they left Assyrian captivity. They left Assyria and they came here around about 300 BC. that same time period is where Mormons believe that they are those 9 tribes, right? So Mormons will say that they from the tribe of Naphtali, they from the tribe of Gad. They name all the northern tribes that they came here. And then when you ask them where the whole idea of Mormon come from, they'll say, well, the guy, Mormon, was here in America, and then he died. And then in 18-something, 20,000 years later, somebody else seen Mormon in a vision, and then they rewrote the Book of the Mormon, right? So now the Book of the Mormon is only from 1800, but they believe that Mormon was from 300 BC, right? But you can use it to parallel with the Bible, that we were here around about that time. And around about that time, after that, you had the Maccabean War, the Greek captivity, and then the Roman captivity. And after we lived in Africa for so many hundred years, Africans turned against us and brought us here to America. Now today, you got Donald Trump bringing the tribes together because he's trying to, like, you know how many people crossed the border in Mexico this past year? Just try to guess. 20 million? If I'm not mistaken, it was either 11 million. 11 million people crossed the border in Mexico this past year. You know what I'm saying? Now, under Trump, they're trying to establish sanctuary cities like Los Angeles and Philadelphia and New York, right? I don't know too many down south, but they're trying to establish sanctuary cities, meaning where those people can come to live. I know in New York, you could pay taxes as an immigrant. You know what I mean? The Lord is trying to push the tribes back together, right? He's trying to make it where though we all back whole again, right? Remember he said the scepter shall not depart from Judah. So it's going to take men like yourself to bring Israel back together. But once Israel is back and the 2 sticks are together, right? Now Ephraim was the capital of the northern kingdom. Jerusalem was the capital of the southern kingdom, right? It's like Samaria was the capital of Ephraim, which is the capital of the northern kingdom. Jerusalem was the capital of Judah, which is the capital of the southern kingdom. So it said with Jerusalem and Samaria, or Judah and Ephraim, that's the 2 things, northern Israel and Judah, Jerusalem and Samaria, Ephraim and Judah. Those are the 2 sticks that need to connect, north and south kingdom. When those 2 sticks connect, that's when we start to see a real change in the truth. What you got?
That's exactly. Well, like what I was gonna say is, you said something about our brothers and sisters had to pay taxes, right? It's crazy how Esau would allow Israelites and Edomites, Moabites, as well as Hamites, which are just those East Indians, Arabians, Chinese, and Africans come through and get them tax cuts that will break for years.
Oh yeah.
And then get yourself established and, basically take ground. It's crazy they won't do that. Our people's 10 to 11 million of cross.
Yeah. Now, when you think about the dangerous people to cross the border, it's always Mexicans. They never point fingers at the Africans. They never point fingers at the Chinese. They never point fingers at anybody else but the Mexicans. Everybody hate the Mexicans, and guess what? Everybody hate the niggas. Everybody hate the Haitians. Start to notice a commonality. Everybody hate the Dominicans. You know what I'm saying? The children of Israel is who everybody hate. Now, after they come over here, they got communities. Whole communities. Where they live at in Houston? Southwest? Southwest? They ain't from Houston, but they got a community in Houston, for sure. You know what I'm saying? I know in other cities they got, you from Pittsburgh, right? They got like an African or Jewish or some kind of community or Indian community. They got a Jewish community. I know for sure in Philly they got an Indian community in Upper Darby. They got a Chinese community called Chinatown in downtown in the center city, and they run in Center City. You can't get a job in Center City. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't get a job in Chinatown. You're not Chinese, right? They got Africans in Southwest. You can't go in the Southwest and just get a job. That's their community. You know what I'm saying? They got Jewish, you know what I'm saying? They got a Jewish part, they got a white part in South Philly. It's really sectioned off. You know what I'm saying? And you can't go in the neighborhood and prosper because they made it where they can thrive. And then you go to our neighborhood. And as the Bible says, we're gonna be atrocities and bywords. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was proverbs and bywords. When they see it, they be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, ugh. So you can't hang around black people. That's a proverb. You know what I'm saying? You can't hang around niggas. That's the byword. You know what I'm saying? The proverb is some, yeah, niggas always taking your money. That's why I hate niggas. Those are proverbs. Niggas ain't, S-H-I-T. Those are the proverbs, right? The byword is nigga, spick, coon, jigaboo. You know what I'm saying? All the words that they give us, those are the bywords that we have in blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Wetbacks, redskins, right? Our neighborhoods, the barrios, the favelas, the reservations, and the ghettos. You know what I'm saying? Those are places they see, and they see the dilapidation in those neighborhoods. That's the door, Yakubah. They see the dilapidation in those neighborhoods and how we became destroyed in America. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna read 1 Corinthians 8:1, and really go into the idea of what Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving was given to us by Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln gave us Thanksgiving because there were so many wars between the U.S. military or the troops and the Native Americans. They had so many celebrations of the slaughter of the Native Americans. They had about 10 of them. And Abraham Lincoln took all 10 of those holidays or all 10 of those celebrations and made them into one celebration, right? So you had the celebration of the destruction of this tribe, of that tribe, of this tribe and that tribe. Abraham Lincoln took all the celebrations of all of those days of destruction and made it into one holiday. That one holiday was called Thanksgiving. So we don't gotta celebrate, you know what I mean, when we won the battle with this Indian tribe, or this Native American tribe. We don't gotta celebrate all the different tribes, all the different war dates of us winning so many different wars. We just celebrate one day of winning all the Native American tribes. That day is called Thanksgiving, right? You follow me, Yakubot?
Yeah.
That day is called Thanksgiving. So instead of so many celebrations, you got one celebration of the war of the Native American Indians. It's called Thanksgiving, right? So now when you celebrate that, you're celebrating America's capitalization on Native American people, right? So let's read this story by Susan Bates. So y'all can go to your phones, go to or go to the internet somewhere, and we're going to type in History of Thanksgiving by Susan Bates. All right, save this in your phone.
Wait up.
All right. Hey, how about you want to read this story?
Mama's pee.
Hold on.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's History of Thanksgiving by Susan Bates.
Mom, I don't want that song.
No, I'll send it to your phone.
This.
You got the article, Yakubot?
Apple.
Oh, I don't have that yet.
A.
Huh?
A. Beep, boop, beer, baby.
Huh?
Beep, 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 beep.
Look get up. The internet don't work.
Your internet don't work?
I got it. You want to read from the top?
Yeah, we're gonna read from the top. So, read from the editor's note. This is the history of Thanksgiving by Susan Bates. Got it.
Right, the real story of Thanksgiving by Susan Bates.
It's a real story of Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
This blog was written by a Native American about 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And has since been copied so many places that been impossible for me to be certain where and when it first appeared.
Go ahead.
Bates is well known though.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to track down more details about her, you probably can.
Mm-hmm.
Often this blog appears as an introduction to other materials.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, Chuck Larson's introduction to a 1978 lesson plan
Mm-hmm.
that 3 public school teachers wrote about Thanksgiving.
Go ahead.
However, I don't believe Bates is responsible for gloaming this on top of the other material, in part because the content, tone, and apparent purpose were entirely different, but also in part because some of Larson's exhortation contradicts Bates' core arguments.
All right, now let's drop down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth paragraph.
Counting the first paragraph as one.
I also agree.
Okay. I also agree with Bates' reminder that the Mayflower colonists didn't actually invent Thanksgiving feast.
They did. The Mayflower colonists didn't invent the Thanksgiving feast. Right? We you got your phone? Go to your internet and look up History of Thanksgiving by Susan Bates. It's gonna be an article that'll pop up. We on the article right now. We in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, paragraph 6. History of Thanksgiving by Susan Bates. All right, we're gonna see them through it today, but as y'all got free time, y'all can read through this article about the history of Thanksgiving. All right, go ahead, you got it.
Like ancient Hebrews and every other culture that has depended on
Other quotes, slide up. All right, start from the top. I also agree. Yeah.
I also agree with Bates' reminder that the Mayflower colonists didn't actually invent Thanksgiving feast.
That's the thing. Like most people believe that Esau invented or helped invent Thanksgiving. They came to America on the Mayflower. They seen everybody and was like, oh yeah, we got corn, we got turkeys and all that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just came together and it was a feast and that was that. And then everybody got smallpox. It was something like that. You know what I'm saying? But the Mayflower people didn't invent Thanksgiving, not the feast. Go ahead.
Like ancient Hebrews
Like ancient Hebrews, go ahead.
and every other culture that is dependent on agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
the Native Americans has already been celebrating harvests and thanking the lords of the harvest for millennia.
Now, here's the thing we gotta understand about Thanksgiving and how wicked it is, right? So, Abraham Lincoln took all of these celebrations of war, right? He had mad celebrations of war. Chicago was 5 times the size of Chicago, and they slaughtered everybody in Chicago, right? I got mad books in the crib. They took the heads of the Native Americans and was playing soccer with them. You know what I'm saying? It was cutting their heads off. They said Peru, it was about 5 million people in the town, and they came down the hill, just slaughtered all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, their goal was to utterly destroy the Native Americans by any means necessary, and that's what they did. So for every battle that they won, they would celebrate the day. All of those days were celebrated. Now, Abraham Lincoln said we're gonna do one day, and we're gonna have it on this day. This day in particular was interesting because the turkey was a symbol of sacrifice, right? And a special day for a high holy day, they call it a mullet dish, right? The Mayan walls and the Aztec walls, they had turkeys on their high holy days. This was a symbol that they used to cook. This was one of the things that they cooked and they burned to celebrate the Most High, right? So the Native Americans had their celebration. Esau unalived them and then took the celebration and hijacked it. So now today we cook a turkey because they believed that that's what they cooked on this day, which it was, but it was their celebration for our holy day. What you got?
Would you want me to jump down to this one paragraph that kind of
Go ahead,
goes
read
with
it.
what you were saying?
Go ahead, read it.
It's actually a couple paragraphs.
Yeah, well, go ahead, read what you got.
Okay.
Where you at? Tell us the paragraph, man.
It's going down when the font changes.
Okay, that's where the story begins. When you read the italics, that's the introduction.
Right.
Basis actual story begins with the time of the Roman.
I was gonna go into the third paragraph in 1637,
Go ahead.
and then the paragraph after that.
Well, let's just read down to it. So start with the beginning of it. Start with the story began in 1614. Let's just get down to it.
Okay. The story began in 1614
Go ahead.
when a band of English explorers sailed home to England with a ship full of
Patois.
patois,
Mm-hmm.
Indians bound for slavery.
Indians bound for what?
Slavery.
Now, we know Native Americans got on that ship and went back to England.
Mhm.
We know Puerto Ricans, what we read on Columbus Day, got on that ship and went back to England. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Columbus had 8 million bodies on him. He was responsible for the death of at least 8 million Native Americans. All together, they all were responsible for about 77 million deaths of Native Americans. So now these Native Americans was on the ship going back to England in slavery, right? Go ahead.
Done.
They left behind smallpox, which virtually wiped out those who had escaped.
Now, the goal was to take everybody into slavery. And whoever didn't go, they tried to kill them with smallpox. Go ahead.
By the time the Pilgrims arrived in Massachusetts Bay, 1620, They-
Which is now Boston. Go ahead.
they found only one living patois Indian, a man named Saputo.
Squanto.
Squanto.
Squanto. Shout out to Squanto. That's a name you should never forget. Go ahead.
A man named Squanto who had survived slavery.
Yeah.
Survived slavery in England and knew their language.
So now he was back. When they came back to America, Squanto went to England on a slave boat and found his way back. So when they got here, they saw Squanto. He knew English because he was there. Go ahead.
He taught them to grow corn, to fish, and negotiate a peace treaty between the Pilgrims and the women.
The Wampanoag.
Wampanoag Nation.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of their first year in 1621, the Pilgrims had a great feast honoring Squanto
And the Wampanoags.
and the Wampanoags.
Go ahead.
But as word spread in England about the paradise to be found in the New World, religious zealots called Puritans began arriving by the boatload.
Mm-hmm. Now they brought over their religion, which is not the Bible. It's their religion. So if they believe, you know what I mean, the Son is the God, then they bought that religion. Whatever religion they had, that's the religion they bought. The religion of the Puritans is what they bought. Go ahead.
Finding no fences around the land, they considered it to be in the public domain.
So there was no faces around the land. Why? Because that land in particular was destroyed. Right? So they said, oh, this is free. Go ahead.
Joined by other British settlers, they seized land, capturing strong young natives for slaves.
Now, the land was, they said it was free, right? There was nobody there. So where did they get slaves from? Right. Go ahead.
Capturing strong young natives for slaves
Mm-hmm.
and killing the rest.
Go ahead.
But the Pequot
Mm-hmm.
nation had not agreed to the peace treaty Squanto had negotiated, and they fought back.
So now Squanto made a treaty with Esau. But his tribe was like, no. His tribe fought back. But Squanto decided to make an agreement with them. Go ahead.
The Pequot War was one of the bloodiest Indian wars ever fought.
Now, when they fought with them, it was a massacre. This was in about Massachusetts, northeast area. Go ahead.
In 1637, near present-day Groton, Connecticut, over 700 men, women, and children of the Pequot tribe had gathered for their annual Green Corn Festival.
That's what it was called, the Green Corn Festival, or we know it today as the
Passover.
no,
Thanksgiving Day.
no,
That is Passover.
huh?
I thought it was Passover.
No,
The Macy's Day Parade.
no.
Oh, Harvest Day.
First fruit.
Oh, okay. Dang, y'all, we suck.
Go ahead.
The Pequot tribe had gathered for their annual Green Corn Festival, which is our Thanksgiving celebration. In the pre-dawn hours, the sleeping Indians were surrounded by English and Dutch mercenaries.
Mercenaries. So now when I was sleeping, right, pre-dawn is right before morning, they would sleep, and they wound up surrounded by, mind you, 700 Native Americans. They were surrounded by English and Dutch mercenaries. Go ahead. You know where Dutch is from, right? The Dutch is from Portuguese.
Oh, they got them in Pittsburgh.
They got it in Portuguese too. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because the Dutch had me in slavery too at the beginning of my life.
Who ordered them to come outside.
The vanilla ones, and the strawberry ones. Go ahead.
They ordered them to come outside. Those who came out were shot and clubbed to death, while the terrified women and children who huddled inside the longhouse were burned alive.
Go ahead.
The next day, the governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony declared a day of Thanksgiving because 700 unarmed men, women, and children had been murdered.
Go ahead.
Cheered by their victories.
By that what?
Victory.
Go ahead.
The brave colonists and their Indian allies attacked village after
So
village.
this became an addiction of Esau to attack village after village when he seen that they could take down 700 men. Because we read in Christopher Columbus' biography how kind we were, right? Remember that Yahweh? When they came to America, they was like, I'm surprised how kind they were. Those people are fit to be slaves. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? He was like, with a couple people, we can have them doing our slave work in no time, which is why they had so many men on the boat back to England, right? They wiped, how many, they said it was about 2 million people in Puerto Rico, but after he got done, it was about 300,000. They said the boat, it was 4 boats that had riches on it, right? I forget what they were called, but those 4 boats that had the riches on it, it was so much on them that like 2 or 3 of them sunk. That's why they called it Port of Rico, which means port of riches. So they said when they got there, they thought that the diamonds and the gold and the stones and all that had some kind of power because they was so, I mean, happy about the diamonds that they found. But to them, it was just regular. It was like the frankincense and myrrh. It was like this. But when they see it, it was like, oh my God, and people start dying over it. It was just a rock to us. But to them, it was valuable because somebody else wanted to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. What?
Women and children over 14 were sold into slavery, while the rest were murdered. Boatloads with many as 500 slaves regularly left the port of New England. Bounties were paid for Indian scalps.
There we go. For Indian what?
Indian scalps.
Remember that, Yahweh? Bounties were paid for the Indian scalp. Go ahead.
To encourage as many deaths as possible.
The New England port today is known as Boston. Keep going.
following an especially successful raid against Pequot in what is now Stamford, Connecticut. The church has announced the second day of Thanksgiving.
The second day of Thanksgiving. And what made it so heavy was not too long after this, when was that? It might have been, it was after 1865, before 1940, in Nantucket, which is right outside of Boston. They was whale hunting, and slaves was going whale hunting with Esau, right? And they was making so much money that they made like black rich neighborhoods in this same area. You know what I'm saying? They became black millionaires. It was like a hub of black millionaires from whale blubber. Whale blubber which made them a lot of money in this zone.
Would that be, it's a neighborhood, I can't think of the name, but it's up there and it's like, you gotta be like a rich elite to go there.
Well, they got rid of the black neighborhood. They took it down.
No, it's still thriving to this
I
day.
think Mary Wells was one of the people named.
It's still thriving,
Yeah,
but it's still,
it might be. I believe it was Mary Wells, but she was one of the rich black people that was there. And then she left and went to like San Francisco and got with somebody in San Francisco. And then he became the person that helped with dying. I think it was oh, you about to give me the lion. What's his name? Was it the Lowry gang? Or he was somebody that helped. I'm messing it up. But yeah, Nantucket or this zone, this is a rich zone. The Connecticut, Detroit, Boston zone. Y'all do your research on us, man. Do your research on Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. Y'all gonna find a lot of crazy things. So it is crazy how time crosses and places cross. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like this was the area where we was rich at one point. Esau came and tore us down. And then we became rich again in the same place.
Yeah.
Go ahead, baby girl. What you looking up?
I was trying to find the name.
The name of the place?
I'll give it.
Yeah,
So-
before class, but definitely the city of Nantucket, it was like, it was cut in half. And they had the black side and the white side.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead. It's the island of Nantucket.
It's kind of like white people go to Martha's Vineyard, but then black people go to this other place, and I think it's what you're trying to say, but I can't. It's a name for it. I really don't want to screw it up. But
No, when you get it, it might be it.
okay, okay,
Good.
ready.
But
The church has announced a second day of Thanksgiving
it was the second day of Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
to celebrate victory over the heathen savages.
The heathen savages, you know what that is, right? The Native Americans. The word savage means Indian, right? Heathen meaning uncivilized. That's what they call heathens, uncivilized. So the uncivilized savages is what they call Indians. Go ahead.
During the feasting,
Mm-hmm.
the hacked
They
off heads of Native Americans
hacked off heads.
were kicked through the streets
Oh,
like
sorry.
soccer
Yeah.
balls.
The hacked off heads, right? So during the feast days, during the day of Thanksgiving, what kind of heads?
Native American.
The hacked off heads, like it. The hacked heads of the Native Americans was kicked around the streets like soccer balls during Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
Even the friendly
Wampanoag.
Wampanoag did not escape the madness.
Go ahead. They was friendly too. Go ahead.
Their chief was beheaded
Mm-hmm.
and his head impaled on a pole in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
So they chopped his head off and put it on a pole like this and stuck it in the ground in Massachusetts. And they said it was friendly. Go ahead.
Where it remained on display for 24 years.
Go ahead.
The killing became more and more frenzied, with days of Thanksgiving feasts being held after each successful massacre.
So they had days of feasts that was held after each massacre. So when they would go to this land, or this place, and there was 1,000 people unalive, they would hold a day of feast after the massacre. That's how they celebrated. It was celebration of the massacre. And they would take them heads and they would kick them around. and they would put their heads on poles and stick them in the ground. That's how they celebrated their win. Go ahead.
George Washington finally suggested that only one day
So I
of
thought it was Abraham Lincoln, but it was George Washington. Go ahead.
George Washington finally suggested that only one day of Thanksgiving per year be set.
Now, they had so many Thanksgiving days that George Washington said, you know what? We just gonna have one. Just one day, because y'all got 1,000 of them. Y'all got 100 Thanksgiving days. Let's just celebrate one of them. Go ahead.
He suggested that only one day of Thanksgiving per year to be set aside instead of celebrating each and every massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Abraham Lincoln decreed Thanksgiving Day to be legal national holiday during the Civil War.
Go ahead.
On the same day, he ordered troops to march against the starving.
Order what?
Ordered troops.
Order what?
Troops.
Who's gonna overcome the Native Americans, Jacobite?
True.
The troops. Go ahead.
To march against the starving.
Sioux.
In Minnesota.
That's the day that they took over Wounded Knee. You know what I'm saying? So they were starving, right? And they were wiped out. And Abraham Lincoln, who's believed to be black, which he's not, I'm not saying, who's believed to be black, took troops and marched them right to the starving Native American tribe. Go ahead.
The story doesn't have quite the same fuzzy feeling associated with it as the one where the Indians and Pilgrims are all sitting down together at one big feast.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to learn our true history so it won't ever be repeated. Next Thanksgiving, when you gather with your loved ones to thank God for all your blessings, think about those people who only wanted to live their lives and raise their families. They also took time to thank you to Creator for all of their blessings.
Took time to say thank you to the Creator for all of their blessings. All right, so is there anything in the notes down here? Let's just read this just because it's there. I'll read it. It is sad to think that this happened, but it's important to understand all of the stories and not just the happy part. Today, the town of Plymouth Rock has a Thanksgiving ceremony each year in remembrance of the first Thanksgiving. There are still Wampanoag people living in Massachusetts. In 1970, they asked one of them to speak at the ceremony to mark the 350th anniversary of the Pilgrims' arrival. Here is part of what he said. Quote, "Today is a time of celebrating for you, a time of looking back to the first days of white people in America, but it is not a time of celebration for me. It is a heavy heart that I look back upon what happened to my people. When the Pilgrim arrived, we, the Wampanoags, welcomed them in open arms, little knowing that it was the beginning of the end, that before 50 years were to pass, the Wampanoag would no longer be a tribe, that we were other Indians living near the settlers, or that we and other Indians living near the settlers would be killed by their guns or dead from diseases that we caught from them. Let us always remember that the Indian is and was just as human as white people. Although our ways are different, although our way of life is almost gone, we, the Wampanoag, still walk the land of Massachusetts. What has happened cannot be changed, but today we work towards a better America, a more Indian America, where people and nature once again are important. End quote. So let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth.
See, like we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge is going to make you feel like you smarter or better than people, right? But what?
But charity edifieth.
What's charity?
Work.
No. Yes, but no. I need a better word.
Service.
Yes, you want to it. You dancing around it. You dancing with it. Giving. Yes, charity is love. Love is going to show you something. And love is action. Like you said, work, giving. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's right there. But giving, that's what's going to show somebody. That's what's going to show somebody that you really care. You might know something. But when you give somebody something, when you love them the right way, that's when you really show them that you really love them. I don't care what you know. What do you do? What have you done for me lately? You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 2. And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing,
Yeah, if you think he know anything, he know nothing. Go ahead.
yet as he ought to know.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. But if any man love Yahweh, the same is known of him.
Go ahead. Now, if you love the Most High, then we know that. Because we know that you put the work in. We know that you give. You know what I'm saying? You show the work you do. Go ahead.
Verse 4. As concerning, therefore, the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols,
Now, we're going to talk about the eating of those things that are sacrificed to idols. Go ahead.
we know that an idol is nothing in the world,
Go ahead.
and that there is none other Yahweh but one.
Go ahead. There's none other God but the Most High. The Most High is the only God. Our God is the only God. Go ahead.
Verse 5. For though there be that are called gods,
There's some that y'all might call God, that y'all think are powerful. Go ahead.
whether in heaven or in
It
earth,
don't matter what they Zeus or Poseidon. It don't matter if it's the God of war or Haiti. It don't matter what God. It can be in the sky or on earth. Go ahead.
as there be gods many and lords many.
Now, you know, Christians say they pray to God, but what is their God's name? Every God has a name, right? Every Greek God has a name. Which God are you praying to? Christians can't tell you the answer. They won't even consider the answer of what God. God is a title like Dad. What is your dad's name? Just Dad? What is your mom's name? Just Mom? The older you get, you'll learn that your mother has a name. Your father has a name. Christians don't ever get older. They don't know the name of their God. But Islam say Allah, Buddha, Confucianism, or whatever the name of their God is. But they don't never get the name of their God. Because it is no God. Go ahead.
Verse 6. But to us,
But to who?
but to us,
Go ahead.
there is but one God,
His name is Yahweh. Go ahead.
the Father, of whom are all
Go
things,
ahead.
and we in him.
We are of him. Go ahead.
And one Lord, Yahushua Mashiach,
We got one king, one ruler over us. That's Christ. We are in the Lord, and Christ is our ruler. Christ is our king. Go ahead.
by whom are all
Go
things,
ahead.
and we by him.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge.
Why don't everybody know that? Go ahead.
For some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol.
They eat that thing is offered to an idol. When they go eat that turkey, that celebration is not the same as it was for us. That ain't a celebration for us. You ain't eating that food thankful for your family around you. When you stab that turkey, you stabbing your brother in the back. When you cut that turkey, you pulling a knife out of your brother's back when you pull that knife out of that turkey. You gonna take that turkey and stuff that in your mouth. That's flesh that died in America. That's flesh that the bones and the blood that you stepping on to walk to your store every day, to walk to your school every day. That's what you stepping on when you stick your knife in that turkey's back. You understand what I'm saying? That turkey ain't a celebration of thanks and giving. That turkey is a celebration of unaliving and destruction. Go ahead.
And their conscience being weak is defiled.
Their conscience is weak, and that's why it's been destroyed. Because you don't know nothing. You don't know what you're doing. And that's why it's so easy for somebody to say, oh, it's for the kids. It's for the family. Oh, it's just so the family can come together and eat? Hell no. It is not. Your conscience is weak. Your mind is weak. And that's why you destroy it. If only you knew better, Grandma. If only you knew better, Auntie. If only you knew better, Mom. If and only if. But Hosea, which was a wise king of Israel, said, my people are destroyed for a lack of
No.
Thank you. That's why we destroy. Because your conscience is weak, Auntie. Dad, go ahead.
Verse 8, but meat commended us not to God,
Go ahead.
for neither, if we eat, are we the better.
Like, we not gonna eat the turkey and be better. We not gonna eat the turkey and it's not, what is it gonna do? We not gonna be better or worse. It's not gonna get us closer to the Most High by eating this turkey. What the hell are we doing at this Thanksgiving table? You sacrificing to an idol. You saying thanks to America for wiping out the Native Americans. You celebrating the war of the death of your brother. Keep going.
Neither, if we eat not, are we the worst.
Now, am I horrible? Am I a bad guy for not eating the Thanksgiving turkey? When I come around, you like, you want the turkey? No, I'm cool. Am I better or worse? Nah. I'm gonna tell you what though. I'm gonna leave that Thanksgiving if I go to see the family and I'm gonna go get me a McDonald's sandwich. I don't even eat McDonald's. But that day, I'm gonna eat a McDonald's sandwich. You ain't gonna catch me eating no Thanksgiving dinner. I probably won't eat turkey all week. I probably won't eat turkey until January. Cause damn that turkey. I'm gonna eat turkey in January. Y'all know I eat hoagies. I love hoagies. Hey, tell them how I eat them turkey sandwiches. I eat turkey sandwiches faithfully. But this week, I'm not eating no turkey. This month, I'm not eating no turkey. Because I'm gonna make the sacrifice of my brother. I know what it's about. And granted, I don't put the same spirit on eating a turkey sandwich. You eat turkey if you want to. But me personally, I don't want to eat turkey. I don't want to eat turkey. Y'all can eat as much turkey as you want. You can eat turkey on that day. Because it's not like you saying, oh, thank God for the turkey. No, you ain't doing that. You got a different spirit on it. But the spirit that they have in them houses, you gotta be thankful. What you thankful for? Meanwhile, the same uncle that molested your daughter is sitting right beside her. And she's scared to death because Uncle Molester Chester is sitting right beside her. It was his hand on the thigh, trying to find out where the macaroni and cheese fell to.
What the?
You understand what I'm saying? No. That's the house that you cutting the turkey in. What you thankful for? Y'all gonna fight when there's no macaroni and cheese, right? And then what they say? You're gonna fight when there's no macaroni and cheese left. Somebody's gonna get handled. They're gonna get treated. There's no mac and cheese. Who made the rum cake or the rum pie, whatever it's called? It ain't no more oxtail. Then you go run to somebody else's house. It ain't. What you got, Jacob?
Cousin blunt.
The
Cousin blunt. Get up with all the cousins and smoke blunt.
Get the cousins and smoke a blunt. That's what we all doing. We all smoking a blunt on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? I'm thankful. I love y'all niggas, man. Y'all my niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, the next time we're gonna see each other is at a funeral. You know what I'm saying? It's so wicked. It don't make me better or worse if I eat the turkey. It don't make me better for eating the turkey. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not gonna eat it. So you think I'm a bad guy because I don't eat the turkey? I'm a real nigga. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
But take heed, lest by any means this liberty is
What?
yours.
This what?
This liberty.
This what?
This liberty.
What's liberty?
Free.
The duck.
Close. Now, if I had no fence, if there was no fence and you could run,
Mama,
you're free.
I don't like that dog.
But if there's a fence to run in, I gave you liberty. Because you have freedom to roam, but only inside this fence. You think you're free, but you got liberty. Free is when you can go where you want to go, like the Gadites. They go where they want to go. They roam as a lion. But liberty is saying you're going to stay on this plantation. And if you leave this plantation, you won't get the repercussions. It's liberty, it's not freedom. Keep going.
This liberty of yours become a stumbling block
So they gave you something, but that same liberty is going to be your curse. Go ahead.
to them that are weak.
Now, you think that you're free, but you have liberty. And because you think you're free, and you only got liberty, that's the curse. Because you're weak. You don't understand the difference between the two.
Right.
Right? So you thinking, oh yeah, what? I'm free. I can walk around, and that's why you destroy it. That's how your mind is defiled. We free to eat, but what? We gonna come together. Y'all gave me a day off? Oh, what? I got the day off. Nigga, come on, let's come on. We gonna eat together. We gonna get, that's the curse right there. We all think it's a good thing, but it's not. That same thing that's good is the most wicked thing about Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
Verse 10, for if any man see thee which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
So now he like, oh, if he doing it, then I can do it. If he doing it, I do it. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish.
Now, because you didn't give him the right strength, he's going to die because he saw you do it. He saw you eat at Thanksgiving and thought it was cool. And now his spirit going to die.
Right.
Go ahead.
For whom Christ died.
Now, Christ died for him. Christ sacrificed for him, but you didn't. You didn't say, you know what? I'm not going to eat this Thanksgiving food because this young brother sitting here, or he going to see me on the pictures on Instagram. He going to see me on the pictures on Facebook. His spirit might not be strong enough to understand what's going on here. Because as soon as I walk in Thanksgiving dinner, if I walk in, I'm walking in with the biggest shield on. With the biggest shields everywhere on my body. I might walk in with a garment on. They be like, yeah, so what you thankful for? I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful for the Native American brothers, you know what I'm saying, that they came here to America and gave those Edomites, which I would say way more vulgar, a chance to be something. Them Edomites in America was murderers, bloodthirsty, you know what I'm saying? And they came here, and I'm gonna say, I'll probably say whatever comes to my mind. Like, I gotta be more decorated here on this stage, you know what I'm saying? But there, I don't gotta be decorated at all. I could go as far as I wanna go. Because I want you to understand what we here for. You here to celebrate the death of my brother, and I don't appreciate it. So yeah, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be amongst the publicans and the sinners, and I'm gonna destroy your dinner. That's why he don't invite me no more. You know? I know he gonna come over with all that. You damn right. You damn right. And then I'm gonna leave and go get me a pacalillo from Poppy and them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go get me an empanada from Mommy or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave and go get me a McChicken from McDonald's. I'm not eating that. You know what I'm saying? Unless they got the mac and cheese. I'm a sucker for mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Verse 12, but when ye sin so against the brethren.
Against the what?
Against the brethren.
So what's the difference between a law, statute, and commandment?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
What you mean? Like,
What's the law, statute, and commandment?
oh, that's not key.
What's the difference between a law,
Oh, lost.
a law, a statute, and a commandment? What's the difference? How do you sin against your brother? Are you breaking a statute? Or are you breaking a commandment? Or are you breaking the law? How do you sin against your brother?
Breaking the commandment.
No,
Breaking the law.
breaking the law. Why? Why?
Because it's a law.
What is the law?
I don't know the scripture per se, but I do know you shouldn't sin against your brother. You shouldn't.
That's the spirit of the law. So that's the case. Wait,
Lord, our neighbor as thyself.
that is a law. That's actually a law.
Daddy,
Don't eat pork. Is that a law, commandment? What is that?
That's a commandment.
It's a commandment.
That's a law.
It's a commandment.
to
If someone dies in the city and it's just a body that turns up in the city of Jerusalem. And we gotta find out who did this. So now this city gotta sacrifice their lamb or they first the fattest lamb or the fattest cow, and this city gotta do A, B, and C. What is that? The law that you recommend?
That's the law,
No.
the statute.
A law is between us. A law between brothers and sisters, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. That's between one and another. That's a law, right? Between me and you. Don't murder your brother, or you know what I'm saying. The way you deal with your brother, right? Or the way you deal with a woman. That's a law. A commandment is between you and the Most High. Don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. You know what I'm saying? Don't you know, adultery is a law. But a shape up is a commandment between you and the Most High. A statute is how you govern a town or a city or a group of people. You know what I mean? So this says when you sin against your brother, when you break a law against your brother, that's how you sin against your brother. You break a commandment, you sin against the Most High, the Lord. Statute, you sin against the city or the town. Right? So in this case, they sinned against their brother. They broke a law against their brother, which is also called a trespass to them. What you got?
In retrospect, even like if you sin against your brother, you still kind of sinning against the Most High as well, right?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying, but this,
But it's not as direct.
yeah, the law gave us a way to better deal with each other. So if I trespass against you, yeah, I'm sinning. Like let's say I stepped in your foot, you punched me in my face, right? And then we've sinned against each other. We ain't technically sin against the Lord, we just trespass each other. You know what I'm saying? Why you punched me in the face? He stepped on my foot. Why he stepped on his foot? Because he looked at me wrong. Y'all niggas is immature. You sinned against your brother. Now you give him $100 and you take him to the well and y'all go drink water together or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. All right, so you sin against your brother. Go ahead.
And wound their weak conscience.
Mm-hmm. So now you sin against your brother and wound his weak conscience. Go ahead.
Ye sin against Christ.
Yeah. Now, in this case, when you wound your brother's weak conscience, you hurting Christ because he is the body of Christ. So you harming your brother, which is Christ as well. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend,
Yeah, if I can offend my brother with this turkey, go ahead.
I will eat no flesh.
I'm not gonna eat this turkey. If I'm gonna offend my brother right here, or my sister, when I eat this food, if I'm offending Native Americans when I eat this food, go ahead. I will eat no flesh.
While I will eat no flesh.
I'm not gonna offend my Native American brothers. I'm not gonna offend the Gadites. So I'm not eating no turkey. Go ahead.
While the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend.
While this world or this nation or this society or this culture is erect or whatever the case may be, I'm not eating no turkey. But I'm not offending my brother. You know what I mean? So, had a lot more, but you know what I'm saying? That's really the gist of it when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? A couple books that we can get into. Of course, you can go into Esau, how he broke all his trees, where it's smooth with the oil. You know what I'm saying? Esau puffed up. You can always go into your Esau breakdown from here. There's a lot of ways to go. The Indian Treaty Removal Act of 1830, y'all look that up. A lot of notes, man. But anyway, Thanksgiving is a wicked holiday given to us by our oppressor. You know what I mean? It's the battle. It's the celebration of the battle and the war carried out on American soil with our brothers. You know what I mean? So every time we celebrate Thanksgiving, we saying, you know what I'm saying, damn the Native Americans, damn the Judites, or damn whatever brothers, the I.S.U.P.K, you know what I'm saying, Reuben, Rahman, Zabalawan, Asher, Naphtali, you know what I'm saying, Manasseh, Ephraim, the whole northern kingdom. You know what I'm saying? You just spit in their face. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you do when you celebrate Thanksgiving. You just spit in the face of your brother and saying, you know, you pledge your allegiance to the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So a wise man would never celebrate Thanksgiving. Then right after that, they dig right in your pockets because you sold green. That's how they destroy you. They're like, all right after Thanksgiving, right after the food is done, go run to Walmart and go tear Walmart down and give us our money back. Well, what you got to about?
Now they got Black Friday, then they got Cyber Monday.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and people die on Black Friday. Soon as Walmart door open, you getting trampled. You dying because you trying to get a speaker. You dying for a TV. You dying for a flat screen. America know what they doing.
Cheap, ain't even good brand.
It ain't even a good one. It's a cheap joint. And they raise the price on it anyway.
Vizio.
Yeah, you getting the Vizio. That joint gonna be blinking. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so sickening what they do to us. You know what I'm saying? But our spirit is weak in America. Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And we believe that this is the way life should be. But y'all brothers are sitting here, sisters, so y'all sitting here in these seats. So y'all understand something about the earth, that something isn't right. Their holy, or their holidays are all this way. All of them. We're going to Christmas soon, you know what I'm saying, and where it comes from. Krampus, make sure y'all look up Krampus, look up Saint Nicholas, which was he ran an orphanage in Turkey. Krampus is the coal in the sock thing. That's the coal in the sock. You know how they say if you don't do good, they gonna put coal in your sock.
Yeah.
That was Krampus, which is like a monster in the woods, something like that. Saint Nicholas was who they considered the idea of Santa Claus. He was a brother in Turkey. He ran an orphanage in like 1300. It was far away, a long time ago. We'll get to Nimrod and Semiramis and the evergreen tree, the mistletoe. Maybe we should run like a series, Jacobite, a little series, whatever. Saturnalia. I mean, really break down. Saturnalia is more so Valentine's Day, though. The winter, I mean, maybe right though. The winter solstice goes into it too. That's around December 21st, the shortest day of the year. So the celebration of winter solstice. All of that's tied into one, and that's really the celebration of Christmas. And they all say that it was Christ's birthday. But we all know Christ was born around tax season. That they was headed to Jerusalem to pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? To get their tributary to Rome. He was born in the manger. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like that song.
And the animals was outside. If it was cold, the animals would be inside. You know what I mean? So Christmas is not Christ's birthday, of course, but they're gonna sell you a dream. Just like Thanksgiving, they sell you a dream and make you believe something, and it just destroy you. You know what I mean? So don't be a sucker to America because you're just gonna be the one being duped. All right. Questions? Call the number on the bottom of the screen. Donations always help. Crazy. Donations always help. Come to class because I don't pay attention to the chat room. I don't even know if you spoke to me on the chat. Come to class. 7701 Belford. We got classes from 7:30, really 7 to 9. You knock on the door, Yakobite will let you in. You know what I'm saying? You go get something to eat, something to drink. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be brothers. So come to class if you're watching. Share this for somebody. Write the information down. You know what I'm saying? Help somebody become a better person. The school gonna be open as long as lights is in America. You know what I mean? So y'all come to class. Y'all come check us out, man. And with that being said, we're gonna pass the class. Any questions? Any questions? I don't even know if there's questions online. It don't even matter. Y'all got questions, call us or come to class, all right? Or come tomorrow and ask your questions online with your pot. All right? And with that being said, we want to ask pass the class on the priest over to Yakubai.
We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, start on 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. For new brothers and sisters, coming to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the word. And they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6-month period in which brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment, book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Ma'asharah, which means 10% in the Hebrew, 10% of any penny, of any increase, the Lord gives to the treasury department or teach. Priest fund, free will offer for priests, without mandatory, whatever amount you would like, or whatever size bottle. Upcoming holy convocation, feast of dedication, HAKANNA, 25th day of the 9th month.
That's a observation of that's a race war where we fought the Greeks and won. You know what I'm saying? And destroyed the Greeks and all of that, and Judas Maccabees led us to a revolution. You know what I mean? So that day is a day for dedication of the temple, or dedicate something to the temple. So get your breadsticks up, we're gonna find something to give to this place. You know what I'm saying? Something to make our temple a better place, our school a better place.
About a space of 8 days. Wednesday, 25th December 2024, for 8 days. You can read about it in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verses 52 through 61. If anyone wants to become a troop in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and a scarf. This is security announcement.
Who are you?
All right, with that being said, in Israel, Majin, which means to stand, only one person salute, in Israel, Shabbat, Majin, Barak, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shah, Barakathon, Yajim Matah, Saw, which means Most High Christ bless you, return, sisters, Majin, which means to stand. In Israel, we'll get a 6-month crazy salute. In Israel, Majin Shabbat, Majin, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatah Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah.
Yahweh Shemar without by Shimmy on shot.
Yajim Matah, Justice Smith.
Pushing your so you can party, okay? Take them off so you can go to the party. Take them off so you can go.